And welcome to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. And I'm Pep Fernandez. We got a lot going on this week as we enter the holiday season. Merry Christmas, everyone. Listen, we got high school football to wrap up. A lot going on this offseason for high school football, so we're going to get in that in just a second. We're also going to talk a lot of high school soccer in this one. We will get to more basketball, more wrestling, try to get some water polo in here, too, in the next couple of weeks and months as we go into the new year. But we do want to talk some high school soccer because we had already Sunkist League boys soccer, which is one of the top leagues in the entire Inland Empire. And they're already playing, and they had some huge matches on Tuesday night. So we're going to break that down and here talk a little more boys soccer, some girls soccer as well coming up on this show. So give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We would appreciate it. We're trying to bring you great sports interviews and highlights here from across the Inland Empire area. And so without further ado, let's talk some high school football. We had two teams, actually both from the Sun Belt League, make it to the CIF SoCal Regional Round. That would be Valley View and Hillcrest. Valley View lost a tough one on the road at Valley Center High School, which is down in the San Diego section near Escondido. And for Hillcrest, well, it was a battle of CIF Southern Section champions going head-to-head. Hillcrest taking on Beckman. So Hillcrest was your Division 10 champion, as we all remember. And Beckman was your Division 8 champion. And, man, it was a back-and-forth battle all game long. And, in fact, at one point, Hillcrest led 27-14 near halftime. Matt Ramos had another huge game. He had a couple touchdown tosses to Nick Shaw. There's one of them right there. Shaw had 11 catches, 2 touchdowns in that game for Hillcrest. Ramos passed for more than 250 yards, both his touchdown passes going to Shaw. Beckman, though, late in the game, driving down the field, you're about to see their go-ahead touchdown. The Beckman Patriots take a 46-40 lead on Hillcrest. So Trojans down by 6 on the ensuing kickoff. Beckman's going to squib it. And guess what? They recover. Hillcrest cannot hold on to it. Beckman gets the football back, and they are going to hold on to it. Hillcrest would not see the ball again. They're going to run out the clock. Good ground game here to hold on to the football and keep it away from Hillcrest as the Trojans fall in this one. 46-40, the final score in the CIF Division 4A SoCal Regional. So a great year for high school football, but it has now come to a close with Hillcrest and Valley View falling in the round of the SoCal Regional. So congratulations to both teams for winning CIF Southern Section titles to punch your ticket to the state playoffs, but both of them falling last week. So the 2025 season is officially over, but the offseason is now ramping up. And, now we're talking about, high school football coaches and going in different directions, programs going in different directions. One of those teams that we just found out about, San Gorgonio, going in a different direction. Luis Garcia was the head coach for one season for the Spartans, and they went 1-9. Their only victory was a forfeit victory against Victor Valley. So the Spartans deciding to part ways with Luis Garcia, and I actually had a chance to meet him. I interviewed him a couple times in the offseason. Really nice guy, great guy, but man, they just really struggled this season at San G. I know their numbers were pretty low as well in terms of players coming out, so we'll see if San Gorgonio can fix that. So San Gorgonio, just one of many teams across the Inland Sports Show coverage area that will have a coaching change this upcoming season, whether, a coach resigned or they just decided to part ways. I think in some instances a coach may be retiring. So there's a lot of circumstances why a coach would step down from a program. So we're going to show you a list of what the programs right now, the schools right now that will have a new head coach next season. And this could be, again, for a number of different reasons, resigning, retiring, just simply parting ways, going in different directions, family time, right? We hear that one a lot as well. And so here's the list. Check it out. And I highly encourage you to check out 8 Laces with Chris Four online. He does a good job of keeping track of all of the coaching vacancies out there. So I had to double and triple check some of these jobs out here. Some of them already been filled. In fact, we're going to go down the list, but I'll tell you right now, Rancho Christian's new head coach, Rory Carlton, he was the athletic director at Notre Dame High School in Riverside, but he's going to take over the Rancho Christian program, and he's taking Coach Gempler from Notre Dame with him. So, in fact, Coach Carlton, we were trying to get him on the show this week. It looks like he's going to do the show next week, so we'll talk Rancho Christian football with him next week. I'm just going to go down the list. This is in alphabetical order. A.B. Miller, Andrew Amosa, man, congrats. He had a great run at Miller, some league championships. They had a great CIF run this season before losing to South El Monte in the semifinals in Division 14. Arrowhead Christian, Rod Robinson parting ways, so they will have a new head coach. Supa Dupa Harupa Valley, I know they had some challenges this season. They will have a new head coach. JW North, OP Vaipulu, man, there might not be a nicer guy than Coach OP, man. He is such a great dude. They had some success at North, but it's tough. It's tough in the Ivy League, man. There are some good teams. From what I've heard, though, you know, the Ivy League is part of the Raincross Conference. So it goes the Ivy League, the Sun Belt, and the Inland Valley. That North will be dropping down to the Sun Belt League. So that may change things for the Huskies, for their new head coach, whoever that might be next season. Murrieta Mesa. Man, I think this might be the most surprising coaching change. Oscar McBride stepping down at Murrieta Mesa. They won a CIF Southern Section Championship just last season. They won another Big West Lower title this year, but he decided to step down at Murrieta Mesa. The Rams, kind of like JW North, they're in a conference. They're in the Big West, and they're in the Big West Lower, and I heard they're going to the Big West Upper next season, so things will obviously be a lot tougher for the Rams and their new head coach next year. From what I've heard, they have not filled that vacancy yet, so if you know, hit us up in the comments. Notre Dame, we just told you, Coach Gempler is following the athletic director, Rory Carlton, down to Rancho Christian, so Notre Dame will have a new head coach. The Titans were winless this season. Over at New View Bridge, Dennis Dufour, the head coach. He's also the athletic director. He told me a long time ago that he would be coaching football for one season until he had a chance to hand over the reins to somebody else. So New View Bridge will have a new guy next year. Rancho Christian, we told you, Rory Carlton will be the new head coach. He's hopefully going to do the show next week. Rim of the World, Joe Girardo, man, this is another. Murrieta Mesa was surprising. Rim of the World was also surprising because they went 9-1 this past season. But if you follow Rim football, you saw them get absolutely hosed on the playoffs. They went 9-1. Their only loss was the Kaiser, and that kind of really bit them because the league championship for the San Andreas League, it was a 3-way tie, so they had to do a coin flip. And Rim of the World was the odd team out, even though you could say they were the best team in that league, and they did not get into the playoffs. So I have not talked to Joe Girardo. I know he's doing a podcast now, so I might have to listen to the podcast to get the full story. But I would not be surprised to hear that the way that season ended did not sit well with him, and he decided now is the time to step down. But he had a heck of a run up there on the mountain at Rim of the World too. So congrats to Joe Girardo and the Scots, man. They had another great year. He had a great run. That's some big shoes to fill up there with Rim. We mentioned San Gorgonio, Luis Garcia. He took over for Chris Chaddock for one season. The Spartans went 1-9, so San G on the move for a new head coach. And Coach Bonaventura is stepping down at Temecula Valley, so the Golden Bears will have a new head coach. So a couple of moves in the Big West with Temecula Valley and Murrieta Mesa. So coaching moves are happening right now. And as far as I know, I think of the teams on this list, Rancho Christian is the only one who have already found their new head coach. So if you know something out there, hit us up. We'd love to hear about it. We love high school football. We talk high school football basically all year round. And I know, and we don't take this lightly either, because we know this is, these men, this is their livelihood, and it affects their families as well. So this is not like the NFL where they're getting paid millions of dollars and they can pick up and move to a new town and buy another big house, and which is hard too, but it's a lot harder at the high school level. So, we do take this seriously because we know it is people's jobs. It affects their families, their kids, moving around and whatnot. Long commutes. I know a lot of coaches, they don't live particularly close to their schools. They got long commutes before school, after school. So there's a lot going on there. So we'll keep you up to date on the coaching carousel here in the Inland Empire for high school football. Another quick high school football note, because again, we love talking high school football, even in the offseason. I know the season just wrapped up this past Saturday night, but some cool news going into next season. Check out this. Cajon and Aquinas are going to play the next 2 seasons, and both of those games in 2026 and 2027 will be at San Bernardino Valley College. The battle for the Dino. Cajon and Aquinas played a couple times the last couple of years. Well, 2022 and 2023 they played. Cajon won both of those games. Both of them were close. In fact, I think in 2022 we actually did a live stream of their game at Cajon High School in the rain. From what I remember, it was nuts and it was really wet, but we got the live stream going and it actually did not fall off. We were worried that we were going to lose it because of all the wet weather. But anyways, that was 2022. And Cajon, you're looking at highlights of their victory against Aquinas in 2023. I think that was 31-16, if I remember correctly. Akeem Halliburton had to play some QB because of some injuries. There was JoJo Solis, man. Those were 2 really good football teams going head-to-head. Well, we get to see it again. They didn't play last season. They didn't play this year, but they're going to bring it back in 2026 and 2027. Again, both those games at San Bernardino Valley College. And the battle for the Dino, the unofficial city championship in San Bernardino. So it should be a lot of fun. Heads up, shout out to Coach Agno, man, for hitting me up and letting me know about that one. Very excited about those rivalry games. Even though they're not in the same league, keep those games going here in San Bernardino. All right, so we're going to take a very quick break. We talked high school football here. When we come back, we're going to talk soccer. We're going to talk Riverside Poly girls soccer. They're coming off a Heritage Tournament championship, and they got a really good team. The Bears are on a strong start to the season. They have not lost yet. They're at the Citrus Hill tournament this week, trying to go back-to-back with tournament titles, and they are led by Josh Nash, who was the Citrus Hill boys soccer coach, led them to a CIF championship. Now he's trying to do it at Riverside Poly. So we'll talk to Coach Nash when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student-athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken. The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today.
Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
Early on, sports had a positive impact on my life. Starting when I was 5, and even then, I learned the power of sports to change lives by keeping kids focused, determined, and more importantly, off the streets. While my high school and college career was riddled with mistakes, it was meeting my future wife, Stacy, that helped me stay on track. This led to us becoming business partners, building what started as Boost Training, a space where young people could thrive through sports, just as I did. It started on the weekends in 2011 with our 4 Quarters program. Training athletes at Centennial High School on Saturdays and Sundays, we drive from San Diego to Corona to train sometimes only 3 or 4 athletes. After a couple years, we had over 50 athletes out each day to work with us. This led to our first facility in 2016, a dream manifested. Today, we're at our second facility, continuing to focus on spaces where student athletes can thrive through sports. And we're not done. Sports has always been my passion. It's what I love, and it changed my life. Through our gym and private school, we're creating impact that not only helps student athletes become college athletes, but builds the habits of excellence, building better student athletes in our community, Southern California, and our country.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down and see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. I'm Pep Fernandez. We just talked a lot of high school football. The season has now come to a close, but it should be a busy off season as programs ramp up for next year, and a lot of high school coaches will be on the move as well. Right now, though, we want to talk some soccer. We're going to talk some boys soccer in the third segment, but right now, some girls soccer at Riverside Poly. The Bears are off to a terrific start. They just won a very competitive Heritage tournament. They're at the Citrus Hill tournament this week, and they're undefeated to start the year. And they might be the favorite to win the Ivy League championship. I know Arlington is tough. Valley View is always good. The Ivy League will be tough. Liberty will always be right there. Ivy League is tough, but Coach Josh Nash is doing a fantastic job. He's been at Poly for a couple of seasons now, but you might remember him. I think it was 9 years ago when Citrus Hill boys won a CIF Southern Section Championship. If I remember correctly, they beat Indian Springs in a shootout for the CIF title. So he's had success. He knows what it takes to win a CIF title, and he's very excited about this Riverside Poly girls soccer team that he has this season. And again, they're off to a great start. Tournament title, undefeated at Citrus Hill tournament this week. So let's check in with Coach Nash and talk some Riverside Poly girls soccer here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He is the head coach of the Riverside Poly girls soccer team, and they're coming off a big tournament championship at Heritage. It is Coach Josh Nash. And Coach, congratulations on that tournament championship. I want to talk about that first because you had to beat some really good teams to get to the title game and win it. What did you like about your Bears squad during this tournament? What did you guys do well?
A couple times we fell behind, and I thought we were very resilient, kind of just battling back. We didn't lose our heads. You know, sometimes in games, you've been around the sport enough that you know there's there's runs within the game itself, or maybe you're just not getting some calls. You might get 4 or 5 questionable decisions against you or whatever, or you're just not particularly playing well. And we had those moments. It's typical things early in the season, but we overcame those in each one of those games and were able to bounce back. And something that we kind of missed last season in terms of timing and, those important moments in the game where maybe you just need a little bit of ball luck, so to speak. Yeah. We didn't have that last season. We've had it so far this season. And we played some quality opponents, played our city rival King in the semifinals on Saturday. And we've always been battling them since I've been the coach at Poly. This is my 5th year. And I think all the games have been no more than 2-goal difference, but the last 3 or 4 have either been a tie or a 1-goal difference. So, and obviously with a lot of the players playing competitive soccer together outside of school, it's always a big anticipated matchup for us and our fans.
Yeah, I did notice King in the semifinals, so that was a big win for you guys to get to that championship match and, of course, win it. But, Coach, you talked about, getting a little bit of ball luck early on in the season. What do you think it says about this team that, the ball is bouncing the right way this early on in the season that maybe last year was maybe for a lot of these players a growing up experience, maybe like a learning curve, or maybe – I don't know, maybe you feel like you guys can create your own luck, right? Luck just doesn't happen. You're kind of creating your own luck. Do you feel like this team has maybe grown up a little bit since, last year's version to this year's version?
Well, most definitely. I would say we have a good class of sophomores who gained valuable experience last year due to injuries, and just squad depth was an issue last season. So we were just kind of forced into playing some younger players. And when you play younger players, sometimes they're going to make mistakes. It's not unanticipated. I would say it's beneficial in the long term, and those players now are stepping up. The 5 to 10 games of a high school, and every high school will tell you have to rotate your squad. You've got players who play at higher levels outside that are coming in with heavy minutes on their legs, so you really have to monitor what they're doing. Playing in these tournaments, I think our program, we're playing somewhere around 15 games between December 1st and Christmas, so it's important for us to really rotate our squad and use squad depth to benefit the long-term future of the program, not just for the program itself, but also our individual players and their health. And we have a good balance of seniors this year, good leaders. And I think, when we say ball luck, I don't mean it's like we're just lucky to get it. You have to force some of that on your own. Yeah. Even, with my history of long playoff runs before when I was coaching at the other high school with the boys, you have to have it's not always the best team that wins CIF. It can be a team that just gets on a run at the right time or gets a call at the right moment. It happens, and we take that into account every time we step out there on the field and just go, take the game as it is, try to do your best. If you win, great. If you lose, it's just a learning experience.
So speaking of learning experience, Coach, going through these tournaments and seeing some really good competition, of course you're out there to win the game, right? You want to win those tournament championships, another big one coming up this week at Citrus Hill. But in terms of preparing yourselves for CIF and before that, even Ivy League, Ivy League's got some, great programs and coaches and players in it. How do you feel like this tournament time is beneficial for you guys right now to get ready for Ivy League play?
Well, on both fronts, it's getting the playing experience just together as a unit. We don't necessarily get a lot of practice time before the season starts. We really don't even get together until early October, if we're lucky to maybe practice once a week, just because of the competitive club demands of each one of the players outside of school, and also just access to practice fields with so many sports, particularly at our high school. And I'm sure it's a common thread for most high schools, but just finding the right balance of getting out there and training and doing that. We're just taking the early part of this season just to kind of see what combinations of players will work best together in certain environments, because every one of our opponents poses a different question to us. So we're looking at it and going, how does this team kind of relate to somebody that's in the Ivy League? Last year was the first year in my time at Poly that we didn't win the Ivy League, and Arlington outlasted Valley View. For us, it was kind of a rebuilding season and using it as a chance to maybe springboard into this season, which so far has worked out for us. We're very young in key positions, so I know, there's always that moment that's around the corner where you might have a couple of games in a row that you're not playing particularly well. It's just commonplace in high school soccer. Rarely do you see a team that's going to be completely dominant, never lose a game. Those teams are very rare.
All right, speaking of dominant teams, Coach, has it really been almost 10 years since you won CIF at Citrus Hill?
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, actually. It felt like yesterday in some aspects, but then I look back and go, yeah, it's 2017. So, I mean, it'll be 9 years this next spring. It'll be 9 years since that run. That team was great. It was just the right time and having the right experience of players, blend of players who had that experience that were like probably some of the most technically gifted players I've ever coached in my 20 plus years, but also just having guys who understood their role from the bench and contributed in ways that maybe were unexpected as the season went on. And we had the run. You probably remember some of that run. I think we knocked out El Monte in the quarterfinals that year. It went 13 rounds of penalties, after a scoreless draw. We went to Rialto and survived there. At that time, I think they had a guy who could throw the ball about 65 yards off a throw-in. And we just kind of hung in there for the last 15 minutes of the game and cleared everything out. And, it was a great run. And I still see a lot of those guys around. Some are teaching or living out in the middle of the country and it's something that as a brotherhood, we just kind of share for the rest of our lives, that we were a part of that great experience,
Yeah, being a CIF champion, not a lot of teams or, athletes or coaches can say that. I am curious, though, Coach, going back to that Citrus Hill team, I know it's, boys and girls, a little bit different there, but, coaching that boys team, what do you think was like the intangibles, right, of a championship team? Like, what are some things that you look for? Maybe you're looking for in this Riverside Poly girls team, and you're like, okay, that's the hallmark of a champion. If we're doing this, I don't know if it's a mindset, the way you practice, having great leadership. I don't know what that looks like. You can tell me, but what do you think the hallmark is of a CIF champ?
Well, I think it's probably different things to different people, but for me, it's just consistency. Consistency with the training, but consistency from the players. They expect consistency from me and my coaches in terms of how we communicate, how we discipline. What we're asking them to do has got to be realistic. If it's within the players' abilities to do it, then they should be able to do it, or at least attempt to do it. If it's not, then it's on me and my coaching staff to find a way to get that player to be effective in the match. I think in terms of the Citrus Hill boys that I had, we were a very good pressing team. So we put the pressure on our opponents to be able to hold on to the ball. And if they couldn't, they were constantly giving us the ball back. And like you see a lot of teams, probably Arlington now, even after I left Citrus Hill, they still played that style for a little while and were very demanding of the ball. And when they got it, they made you pay. They created offense. They didn't always score, but if you're spending 65, 75, 85% of the game defending, you're probably going to tire out at some point. You're going to make a mental mistake and you're going to lose. And that's what we did. We suffocated our opponents. My first 3 years at Poly, we did the same thing in the league that we played in and made it difficult for our opponents. We struggled a little bit with that last year for various reasons, but this year we're a little bit more organized and structured, and defensively we're more sound. If you look at our first 8 or 10 results from last year, you'll see defensively we were poor. We faced a really strong Murrieta team, I think the second game of the season last year, and they took it to us pretty well and made us pay. And this year we just have been a little bit more organized. We're not scoring quite as much yet. We're scoring okay, but we're not conceding anywhere near the goals we were conceding, and that always bodes well. If you want to win any type of title, tournament title, league title, CIF, you have to defend, and you have to defend consistently over 80 minutes.
So, Coach, finally, as good as things have gone early on in the season for you guys, do you feel like, hey, we're just starting to scratch the surface? Like, there's still so much more potential to unlock on this team, especially offensively, it sounds like, to put the ball in the back of the net.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's probably anybody who knows me, most of my teams thrive on creating chaos defensively, especially in the opponent's defensive third. We try to force them into passes that they wouldn't normally try to make. When they do, we try to, I tell my players, if you win the ball 25 yards away from the opponent's goal, you're going to create a scoring chance. So if we can get half of our goals can come from set pieces or whatever, or half our goals can come off just of us pressing our opponent, it takes pressure off of our offense to try to create and build up too much because we're already winning the ball. We don't need to go 80 yards worth of passes to try to score. We're already winning the ball 25 yards from the opponent's goal. We're going to get something. And so for us, it's just, are we going to have consistently strong legs, which comes down to squad rotation and players understanding their roles. And like I said, the younger players some from very structured club environments, and they understand tactics pretty quickly. Some are developing that aspect of their game, and so it's just trying to work everybody to the same mindset and go, well, this is what we're trying to get out of it, and hope that they respond and are proactive in doing so.
All right, Coach, and finally, is it fun to go back to Citrus Hill? I mean, obviously a lot of good memories.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a game there actually since I left. I mean, I took that after I left, I had a year off, so I went back and watched a few games when they were hosting the tournament that I had actually founded there at the school, which is still going pretty strong. I think it just completed this on Friday or Saturday this last weekend. They finished it, but the girls tournament they had started while I was there as well, and we just wanted something local for us because we're getting closer to finals week and things like that for the academically. So we want to be able to rotate the squad and keep everybody fresh and just play a few games leading up to our first league game, which is next Wednesday at home against Valley View. So
that's a big
obviously,
one right out the gate.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Ivy League doesn't play around, Pep, you know that, both on the girls side and the boys side. It should be pretty tough. And then we have some tough games over the end of winter break against Norco and Canyon from Anaheim. So it should be a good test for us leading into the second part of the rest of our league matches. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to a good season. You know, we want to keep everything kind of grounded and just, you know, say the girls played really well in the tournament and did what they could do in 4 games over 3 days is never easy on the body. So we were able to rotate the squad and get everybody involved, which is always a good thing heading into that Monday training session coming off a tournament victory.
Inland Sports.
All right, it was good to catch up with Coach Nash. I haven't had a chance to talk to him in a while, so it's good to catch up. And that's awesome. They're having such a great start to the season, and we'll see where the Poly Bears take it this year. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk some Sunkist League boys soccer. The Arrowhead Athletic Conference has already started league play. The Sunkist League for boys soccer is one of the top leagues in the IE, and it's already off to a wild start. It was a wild opening night, so we're going to recap opening night and talk some boys soccer when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
A kid that he literally needed belief. He wasn't someone that was maybe as talented as people thought his brother was. He wasn't getting the same shine and the same attention, and he just needed the right place to bring it out. Everyone has different aspects that they need to work on, right? For some kids, they need to get bigger. For some kids, they need to get their academics up. For some kids, it's just overall maturity. But whatever it is, we're going to bridge that gap. We're going to get those gaps sewn up now so we can get you ready for when the opportunity does come, you're ready to meet the moment. And that's what development should be. I love to work with a kid who a lot of people don't see it right away. Maybe he just needs a little bit of work. Maybe he needs a little bit of belief. Once you put him in the right setting, put him under a barbell, you put him in the right classroom, and they shine, you know? And that's what development is all about. It's not about where these kids are right now. It's about where they're going and how you as a coach can help them get there. I love doing that. It's the best part of my job.
chance. It's like when Jordan went to baseball, all the other teams looked around and said, oh, man. Look, Hakeem Olajuwon was like, dude, we can get a championship here.
We got to hurry and do this thing. So.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, usually you feel like there's 3 or 4 teams that have a legitimate shot, right, at winning the Super Bowl this year. Dude, I don't know, man. I could see a 6 seed making a run and winning the Super Bowl because when you get to the playoffs, I know they're going to have their seedings, but in reality, they're all going to be very, very close. You know, like the Bears be a 6 seed and go beat, like, let's say a Tampa Bay. Of course. Yeah, of course I could see that happening. So it's going to be crazy in the NFC and the AFC for that matter, too, with Kansas City on the brink. Buffalo is good, not great. We saw the Steelers beat the Ravens. I thought Baltimore was going to be a Super Bowl contender, but now the Steelers, it looks like they're in the driver's seat to win their division title. So who knows, Patrick?
I love it. Sometimes, it's such a mess over there in the AFC. It's a race to the bottom. We like to say.
Stay out of the cellar is what they
Yeah.
All right, we got to talk college football playoffs. We've been talking about it for weeks and months, and we finally got our college football playoff teams. The top 5 teams get the first round buys. That is Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech. Not a big shock there. 2 teams from the Big Ten. Indiana, your Big Ten champion, winning on Saturday night, followed by the SEC champion, and then your Big 12 champion, Texas Tech. After that, that's where it gets messy, Patrick. Here's your first round matchups. Oregon against mighty James Madison in the opening round. That's a 5 versus a 12 seed. If you're a March Madness fan, you never want to be a 5 versus a 12. I'll just put that out there. Alabama versus Oklahoma. Tulane, quarterback by Jake Retzloff, the former Centennial High School star, against Ole Miss. And we got Miami versus Texas. So that is your college football playoff.
Now, yes, I am Catholic. I will put that out front first. But I have to say, when Notre Dame sees James Madison in there, yes, I'm for giving the little guy a chance. But you got to be upset about it.
Yeah, if Notre Dame played James Madison head-to-head with the Irish win, I'm like 99% sure Notre Dame is going to win that football game. But, I mean, for James Madison on the flip side, they did what they had to do, right? And they're going to get a chance. If they get absolutely blown out by Oregon, I know Notre Dame is already big mad because they're saying like, hey, we got snubbed. We're not even going to play in a college football bowl game. It's almost like their protest, right? Like they're not going to play in any kind of game now that they make the playoffs. But Notre Dame is going to be really mad if Oregon just completely blows the doors off James Madison.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this precedent. Now teams are going to not go to bowl games. I know this isn't completely unheard of. It has happened before. But for them just to say outright they're not going to, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like when I saw that headline, I'm like, wait, hold on. I got to read this twice. Is that right? Notre Dame is like so mad, sour grapes that they're going to be like, fine, not in the playoffs. We're not playing in any of your bowl games. Inland Sports. All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. That was Patrick in the Morning on KCAL 96.7 FM. I join him every Monday and Thursday morning to talk sports and, of course, a lot of football. All right, we're talking some high school boys soccer right now. League play is right around the corner for most teams, but not in the wild and wacky world of the Arrowhead Athletic Conference. It had already started, and the Sunkist League for boys soccer is super competitive. I mean, ultra tough. A lot of great programs, a lot of great coaches and players. It's always one of the tops in the IE, and this year is no different. Opening night for Sunkist League boys soccer, and it was a wild one. We're going to start with our Bass Athletics play of the week. It was San Gorgonio taking on Bloomington, Sunkist League boys soccer opener. Inland Sports. Well, San G, man, they had a ton of shots on goal. None of them would go in, except for this one. Hector Bustamante. Keep an eye on the bouncing ball. There is Hector number 5. The one touch inside the far post with his left foot. I'm going to say that's not his dominant foot. I'd have to talk to Hector about that because he is the kicker for the football team, and I'm pretty sure he's right-footed. Man, what a shot. And that would be the only goal of the match. Take another look as we zoom in a little bit, slow it down. Boom. The one-timer just inside the post. San Gorgonio beats Bloomington on Sunkist opening night by a score of 1-0, and that is the Bass Athletics Play of the Week, courtesy of Hector Bustamante and San Gorgonio. Huge win against Bloomington to crack open league action. Now, there was another big game in Sunkist League play. It was our Kin Sporting Goods must-see game. Two Fontana rivals, Harupa Hills and Fontana. But oh my, Faux High dominated this match. It was the Steelers winning this one by a final score of 4-0. So Faux High storms into league play, beating a Harupa Hills team that went to the CIF Southern Section semifinals last year. So that was a big win for Fontana. So if you're keeping track at home, Fontana and San G opening with victories. Don't sleep on Rialto. The Knights are out there too. So it's going to be a lot of fun this year in the Sunkist League. But big wins for Faux High and San Gorgonio last week. That was our Kin Sporting Goods must-see game for boys soccer. And again, we'll do more, certainly more basketball next week. We're going to mix in some wrestling and water polo as well. But we're going to round out with a little bit more soccer this week on Sports Weekly on IEMG. We've got some soccer highlights. San Gorgonio taking on Indian Springs. In girls soccer, we also caught up with Indian Springs boys soccer coach Patrick Kaler. For the last 10 years, Indian Springs has been one of the top boys soccer programs in the area. They were Division 4 last year for the playoffs. Mountain Valley League champions, and they've got a good squad this year. But as you're about to hear from Coach Kaler, they need to put some balls in the back of the net. They need to score some goals, and it's coming along. The defense has been strong, great goalkeeping, and a big win against Colton. That's where we caught up with Coach Kaler. You can hear more on Indian Springs soccer right now on Sports Weekly on IEMG. But here is Coach Kaler, in case you missed it.
Well, the first couple games that we had, we weren't taking shots, so I liked the fact that my offense was now taking some shots. We had 3 or 4 shots that should have gone in the first half, and we finally broke loose, changing some strategy around, and broke open the game. Let's go in this game!
And then what are some areas that you feel like, hey, we can still get better?
On the defensive end of the ball, my midfielders think they're strikers, so they need to work harder on the defensive end of the ball. My defense is solid, but I need my midfielders to be a little tougher on the ball.
What do you think of your goalkeeping tonight?
This guy came out of nowhere, and he is such a blessing in disguise. Ivan is just, he had like 8 saves 2 days ago, and good 4 or 5 tonight. That kid is the real deal. I'm glad he switched from being a midfielder to a goalkeeper.
Whose idea was that?
Oh, no, he hadn't played in years. Oh. This is his first time playing in years, and I'm so glad he decided to come back and help us out this year.
All right, Coach, going forward, what gets you excited about this team? Like, what keeps you optimistic about how far this team might be able to go this season?
Well, it's been tough after 2 really good years and solid talent who's all now moved on. I always enjoy the challenge of building up a team, getting the chemistry together, and then seeing where we can go with that. As always, it's a competitive league, and we have these tests because we're going in the conference next year. So we have to see kind of where we stand with these guys in the conference. So that's the challenge, and then I'm always thinking about building. I've got 3 programs now. We're always trying to build players up to get ready for the next level in varsity, then JV. So there you go.
All right, that is Coach out there at Indian Springs, Coach Kaler, and more on Indian Springs boys soccer. Oh, also highlights of Indian Springs against Patriot in boys basketball as well. So right now, this week on Sports Weekly on IEMG, that is TV Channel 3 in the city of San Bernardino. But of course, you can just find Inland Empire Media Group on YouTube as well. And you can check out all the highlights and interviews on those segments. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Inland Sports Show. Kind of short and sweet this week as we're coming off the Thanksgiving holiday, sandwiched in between Christmas. So it's kind of a weird time. A lot of teams going to tournaments. There is some league play, as we just saw in Sunkist League boys soccer, but in the first of the year, things will really heat up. All right, give this video a like if you've made it this far, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Give us a follow on social media as well. I'm Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night.